Hey, thanks for checking out my channel. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and this is a review of The People We Hate at the Wedding, which is, it's on Amazon. So, it has audio description. I'm a blind film critic. That's probably why you're here, is to learn about, does the audio description work? And my answer is, did you read a book called Musical Theater? I don't know if that's like if that's a movie thing, or I don't know. And it's a weird thing for me to harp on, but let me explain. So there's a scene kind of towards the end where one of the characters is flying on a plane, and we're told that he's reading a book called Music Theater. That's it. That's the title of the book. It'd be like reading a book called History or reading a book called Math. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if, I mean, I'm sure the audio description is accurate, but if it isn't, because it kind of made me think the whole film was stupid. In that one moment, that one selection of audio description, I was like, wait, is he really reading a book that is obviously titled Music Theater? Like, it's just like some random shitty prop book? It's not like the history of music theater. Like, it doesn't even have a title that would, it's just like a thing, you know? What are you reading? Oh, I'm reading geography. Okay. All right. Good times. Have fun reading geography. Like, I mean, actual textbooks don't even have boring names like that, you know? So I don't know where they got this music theater book. It's not like the history of music theater or the best of Broadway or music theater from the 1950s, or they didn't even try. The narrator literally just says he's reading a book called Music Theater. This is a weird thing for me to harp on, but I have to talk about it. Because if it's a real thing, then burn this movie, please. Just burn it. Just set it on fire. Kill it with fire. That means somebody in the prop department was like, yes, we're going to put this on screen. It's like the equivalent. I know it's a really low stakes equivalent because far more people saw American Sniper. But remember when there was all that talk because it was obvious that they were using a fake baby in American Sniper? It was like a doll. It was very obviously not a real baby. This is kind of like what I feel that it's like there are real books in the world, and then there's a way to make a real book, like to make it look like a real book. But when you don't even try, and you're just like, well, what do we call this book? I don't know. He's got to be reading a book, and it's supposed to be about like Broadway and music theater. What if we just call it Music Theater? I don't think anybody will notice. Nobody will pay attention to what he's reading. And then lo and behold, the audio description narrator is like, what's really important in this scene? Paul is sitting on a plane reading a book called Music Theater. And then I'm just like, he's what? The book is called what? I don't, excuse me? Say what? What? What book is he reading? I'm sorry. So, normally audio description elevates the movie, and the rest of the audio description is delightful, but that one little element, it's sort of like revealing to me that you think the movie is stupid by, like, I don't know, making choices like Paul looks off into space, you know, just like Paul tries to frown but is incapable of doing so. You know, I mean, there's ways that you could just kind of be like, oh, this movie is dumb, and finding ways of mocking it. I don't know, but it feels like somebody saw that. It feels like the narrator saw that and was like, yeah, I'm gonna say something about it, and I'm gonna put this in the narration because blind people need to know. And I'm just like, wow, thank you. Now that I know, I don't really know what to grade this movie for because that's so lazy. It's just one thing. It's one tiny thing. It has no relevance to the plot. Anyway, let's talk about the film. If you if you've stayed this long, I'll tell you about the film. So it's a cute title, The People We Hate at the Wedding. It's this family that's sort of dysfunctional and they don't really talk and they don't really come together. It's got some heavy hitters here that none of them are strong enough to ever release a film theatrically on their own. This film could have been released theatrically because when you put them together, maybe. But films for adults are not doing good at the box office. They keep releasing films like The Fabelmans and She Said and stuff that people thought everybody would be watching, and they're like, nope, we're not watching this. So I can understand why more and more of these films are going to go straight to streaming, or just stop getting made altogether. But yeah, Allison Janney, Ben Platt, Kristen Bell, it's a decent cast. They're the focal points of the film. And it's sort of navigating their complicated relationships leading up to the wedding of their, well, not Allison Janney's sibling, but their less famous actress sibling, who also is British. I think that's where that accent comes from. Who, there's a whole thing about her not feeling like part of the family, and she felt like they had their own thing, and you'll get into it. She has a really nice scene at the end where she explains a lot of things. This film has comedy, but it also has like emotional range to it too. Like one of my favorite scenes is towards the end of the film when Allison Janney she tells this guy, Henri, she just kind of just opens up and just tells him everything. And it's a great monologue. And it shows why Allison Janney's just perfect and everything. Her performance in this film became like one of my favorite supporting actress performances of the year. It's kind of designed for her, and no one's going to recognize this. I've looked at the scores already. Metacritic has this as like a 33. This is not Oscar bait, but I don't even know if it's in my top 10, but I did really enjoy her performance, and I thought towards the end, the emotional weight that she brings in that moment was just, it kind of makes the payoff, there's some stuff they tie in together at the very end where if you sit through some of the bad jokes that they make throughout the rest of the film, some of the jokes that don't work, like this, oh my God, this ridiculous scene where Kristen Bell gets caught, her underwear is down, and she's trying to do something in a closet, and at the time her underwear is down, and meanwhile the janitor comes in, and Kristen Bell's like, you'll never believe it, I was just in here and my underwear just fell off. And the janitor's just like, no, I totally believe it. So let's take a look at this situation. And she like totally analyzes it, and she helps Kristen Bell put her underwear back on. But she believes that Kristen Bell's underwear just fell down, just on its own, of its own accord, randomly in this closet. Like Kristen Bell just happens to be in this closet. And like, this joke shouldn't have worked. This joke, but instead of having somebody react in the natural way, they went the other way with the joke. They're like, but what if somebody did believe her? And I'm like, then it makes the joke worse? It didn't make it funnier. You kind of just beat a dead horse. You kind of just stayed with the joke. Yeah, it's not a perfect film, but this film actually works best when it brings in the dramatic range of these actors and these characters, and stays away from the comedy. Yeah, it's not a funny movie. It reminds me of This Is Where I Leave You, which I'm sure I just said that title and people were like, well, I don't know what that is. Look it up. It's a slightly better version of this, with Jane Fonda, Jason Bateman. Yeah, it came out, I don't know, 10 years ago. That was the vibe that I got from this film, was that. So, but I didn't like the French actor, and I feel really weird saying that because it's very unfair. He's he's a Caesar Award nominated actor. Um, so in his own language, he's apparently quite good. However, in the English language, he doesn't know it well enough to be able to convey emotional depth to his character. All of his lines are very, uh, like he knows English well enough to speak it and to have a conversation, but he's not quite sure where to put the fluctuation in speech and in range and the emotional depth. And for me as a blind audience, I don't even get to see his physical emotions. So it is very unfair. And I'm totally admitting that. I'm fully admitting I don't get to see his presence. He might be very emotive facially. I'm sure for somebody to have won an award in their own language, that he probably is. But it didn't work for me in English language as a blind person trying to pull emotion from this character, trying to pull anything from this character. It just didn't work for me. Those are sort of my problems. Him and music theater. And just jokes that don't work. This film just doesn't know what to do with the jokes. I'm not gonna say every joke didn't work, but a lot of them don't work. This film should have stayed more in the dramedy range than a comedy range. Should have been a drama that is occasionally funny, Yeah, that's where I would have gone with this, instead of a comedy that's occasionally serious. So, but overall, there's some acting here that really nailed it and swung out of the park. So I'm going to give it a slight thumbs up, and I'm going to say The People We Hate at the Wedding is a C+. That would still be the tiniest of thumbs up for me. It's a small thumbs up. I have a hard time telling people not to watch this film because I don't want people to not see Allison Janney's performance in this film, because I think she's really good. I think Kristen Bell and Ben Platt are fine. I think they were handed a lot of jokes that don't work. So anyway, check it out. It's on Amazon, and I would say it would satisfy your Thanksgiving family get-togethers, but this has no relevance to Thanksgiving. It's about a wedding. So anyway, that's it. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers this year, so if you could subscribe, that would be great. I also have a website, macmovieguyy.com. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. It'll let you know who is narrating your favorite films and TV shows. That's it for me today. And until next time, I will see you on the other side.